Hello everyone, welcome to history class. Today we are going to start lesson 5 of history, traders to rulers. The main objectives of the lesson are you will come to know about internal and external situations of India in the second half of the 18th century, advent of European companies, Anglo-French rivalry, British conquest of Bengal, dual government, British expansion under Lord Wellesley, period of rapid expansion, and opponents of the British rule. And in today's video, we are going to discuss about the introduction and advent of European companies. And the objectives of today's topic are you will come to know about internal and external situations of India in the second half of the 18th century, advent of British and French East India Company, and rivalry in trade. But before starting today's topic, let us discuss the new words. First is anarchy, a situation of lawlessness, colonizing, sending settlers to a place and establishing political control over it. Industrialization, setting up industries on a large scale. Capitalism, an economic and political system in which a country's trade and industry are controlled by private owners for profit. Capitalist, a person who uses his wealth to invest in trade and industry for profit in accordance with the principles of capitalism. Imperialism, a policy of extending a country's power and influence through colonization, using of military force or other means. Next is monopoly, complete control of a trade or business. Explorer, a person who explores a new or unfamiliar area. Fortification, a defensive wall built to strengthen a place against attack. Indigo, a blue dye obtained from a tropical plant. Now, our topic is from traders to rulers, means how the British became the kings or the leaders of India from dealers or merchants. India in the 18th century had to endure one of the most chaotic periods in its entire history. The Mughal Empire, which had dominated the Indian subcontinent for 2 centuries, began to decline with internal and external pressures. Following the decline of the empire, numerous lower powers strived for independence and foreign powers began to invade India. Now let us read from book. The British Empire in India was established in the second half of the 18th century. A vast territory and population of India began to be ruled by a minority of an alien race. Minority means people who are less in number or less than half, and alien race means people belonging to a foreign country. As we know, since ancient times, India had attracted foreigners from different parts of the world for different purposes. Some came to explore, some came to invade, some came to trade, and some came to rule. And in the second half of the 18th century, the British Empire in India was set up, and the huge area of India was occupied by some of the foreign traders, and later on they started ruling over India. Interestingly, India was in a way not conquered by the British but by Indians themselves under the British. Means earlier the British had came to India just for the trade purpose. Their motive was not to conquer or invade India, but by seeing the condition of India, the British started taking advantages of the Indians. The British took advantage of the constant fights among the emerging kingdoms. Constant means continuous. Emerging kingdoms means arising empires. Now let us read about the internal and external situations that enabled the British to establish an empire in India. Now let us read and discuss about the internal situations that enabled the British to establish an empire in India. Decline of central authority. After the decline of the Mughal Empire, no one emerged to replace it. Soon, regional powers started declaring their independence. Declaring means proclaiming. In such a situation, total chaos and anarchy prevailed in India. Chaos means confusion, and anarchy means a situation of lawlessness. Means there was loss of the central authority in India after the decline of the Mughal Empire with the death of Aurangzeb in 1707 AD, and the prevailing political disunity among the Indian rulers enabled the British to establish an empire in India. The other reason that enabled the British to establish an empire in India was lack of unity and constant rivalries. Rivalries means conflicts. Newly formed regional kingdoms were disunited. They also tried to establish supremacy over one another. Supremacy means control. They continuously indulged in wars. Indulged means involved. And always tried to conspire against one another. This resulted in further weakening of these kingdoms. Means there was lack of unity among the newly formed regional kingdoms. They fought with one another frequently. They often failed to unite for a common cause, and the British took an advantage of the lack of unity among the regional kingdoms. The other important reason that enabled the British to establish an empire in India was the foreign invasions. Invasions means annexations or conquering. The prevailing situation was advantageous for the foreign invaders. Advantageous means favorable and invaders means attackers. India was attacked over and over again in the 18th century by the Afghan invaders Nadir Shah and Ahmad Shah Abdali. Nadir Shah, the ruler of Iran, invaded Delhi in AD 1739. He looted huge amounts of wealth and lots of other valuable things including gold and silver. And after Nadir Shah, Ahmad Shah Abdali, an Afghan ruler, invaded North India 5 times between AD 1748 and AD 1761. And these invasions showed the weakness of the Indian ruling class. Thus, the Europeans were encouraged to acquire political control over India. So, we can say that to acquire political control over India, the Europeans took an advantage of the weakness of the Indians. The other important reason that enabled the British to establish an empire in India was lack of a good defense force. Defense means protection. India had many good commanders and generals. Commanders means leaders. Rulers like Tipu Sultan of Mysore and Mir Qasim of Bengal tried to modernize their armies. However, Indian military was not as modern as European military. Modern means advance. Means no doubt that some of the rulers during the 18th century tried to modernize their armies in India. But then too, the Indian military lagged in front of the European military, as the Indian army was not well organized and they lagged in the warfare techniques as well. Indian military was inferior in warfare. Inferior means lower in quality. Its soldiers were less disciplined. The Indian navy was very weak. Even the great Mughals did not build a strong navy. Means even during the great Mughals, the armed services of India, which conducted military operations at sea, was not as strong as the British navy. The Europeans, especially the British, had a very strong navy. All these placed the British in an advantageous position. Means in the 18th century, many of the Indian rulers didn't take any pain to modernize their military and administration. Hence, they couldn't compete with the growing power of the British in India. Now, let us read and discuss the other important reason that enabled the British to establish an empire in India. Groupism and factionalism. Groupism means forming of groups and factionalism means disagreement. During this period, groupism, corruption and factionalism were at a peak. Corruption means bhrashtachar. It was prevalent in the courts of the kingdoms. This lessened the loyalty for motherhood and sometimes even the officials supported the foreigners. Means in the second half of the 18th century, groupism, corruption and factionalism were existed in the kingdoms of India. Even the rulers were not loyal to one another. And many of the Indian rulers started supporting the foreign officials for their own benefit. The most striking example was the Battle of Plassey. The commander-in-chief of the Nawab of Bengal did not turn up in the battlefield. The British won the war easily. During the Battle of Plassey, Mir Jafar was the commander-in-chief of Bengal, and Sirajudaulah was the Nawab of Bengal. And Robert Clive conspired or made a plan with commander-in-chief of Bengal to overthrow the Nawab of Bengal. And the commander-in-chief of Nawab, that was Mir Jafar, along with his army, did not take part in the battle. Therefore, Sirajudaulah was killed and Mir Jafar was made the Nawab of Bengal. And in such a situation, the British applied all their available strength and succeeded in colonizing India. So we can say that due to groupism, corruption, and factionalism in India, the British started sending the settlers in India and started establishing the political control over it. Now let us read and discuss about the external situations that enabled the British to establish an empire in India. Industrialization. Setting up industries on large scale. Industrialization refers to replacement of hand tools with power-driven machines. It started in the beginning of the 18th century in Britain. Prior to this, manufacturing was done at home. People used hand tools and basic machines, and the production was low. Means in late 1700s, most of the goods or things were produced in the small workshops or at homes, and the manufacturing was often done in people's home by using hand tools or simple machines. And the production of things was low. But after industrialization, the use of power machinery began. The production started taking place in the factories. This led to the production of goods in huge quantities. So we can say that the Industrial Revolution or industrialization was a time when people began producing goods and things by machine instead of by hand. And during the 1800s, farmers and city workers stopped working by hand and began to use machines. And this led to the production of goods in huge quantities. And industrialization gave rise to capitalism. Capitalism means an economic system in which the means of production of goods or services are privately owned and operated for profit. It was a system controlled by the capitalists. Capitalists are the persons who use their wealth to invest in trade and industry for profit in accordance with the principles of capitalism. They were wealthy people who owned the factories. After that, the British started the search for the new markets. Capitalism and industrialization created huge demand for cheap raw material. Cheap means inexpensive. Means after industrialization, the demand for cheap raw material was increased as the production was also increased. And for selling the finished or the final products, the British too was in search of the new markets. Countries of Asia and Africa became centers of attraction as they had natural resources and large population but no factories. As in 18th century, the countries of Asia and Africa were rich in natural resources and they had huge population but there was lack of factories. So as a result, Europeans started conquering these territories. Conquering means invading. This is called imperialism. Means the Europeans adopted the policy of extending the country's power and influence through colonization, use of military force or other means. And India soon came in the eyes of imperial powers like Britain and France. So we can say that there were so many internal as well as external situations that enabled the British to establish an empire in India. Now, let us read and discuss about advent of European companies in India. Europe's overseas trade with the East was very profitable. Groups of merchants were encouraged by the rulers of some European countries like England, France, Holland, Denmark, and Portugal to open up trading companies. They established their trading centers in India and various parts of the world, and these centers were called factories. Basically, in the second half of the 18th century, India and Europe had trade links for many years. However, the trade routes they followed were controlled by the Arabs and the Turks who lived in West Asia. and charged a heavy tax for the passage of goods through their countries. And to avoid this, the European explorers were in search of finding a route free from the control of the Arabs and the Turks. So they started the overseas trade, which was very profitable. And after that, through sea routes, they started reaching in India. They started establishing their centers in India, and these centers were called factories because the officials of the companies who were called factors resided there. These factories had offices and godowns, means the centers which were established by the Europeans were known as factories, and the officials of the companies were known as factors. They bought goods like spices, means masale, silk, that is a type of fiber, and indigo, a blue color dye obtained from tropical plant, and cloth from India at low prices and sold them at very high prices in Europe and America. These companies were given monopoly by the government. That means the companies were given complete control of a trade or a business. Monopoly was the exclusive right to trade with the East. Exclusive means complete. This implied that no other merchant could participate in Eastern trade. In return, the ruler received a share of profit. Profit means financial gain. Means every merchant had their own company and no other merchant was allowed to interfere in the other's trade. And in return for that, every merchant gave some share of profit to the ruler. Now let us discuss about the two European companies that reaped maximum benefit from their trade with the East. And these two companies were the French East India Company and the British East India Company. The British East India Company. The Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth I, issued a charter to the East India Company on 31st December 1600, and that charter granted the monopoly of trade to the company for 15 years. It was a private company run by a board of directors. They took permission to set up factories from Jahangir, the Mughal emperor, in the early 17th century. The company established factories at various places in India, and the major centers of the British East India Company were in Bombay, the present day Mumbai in Maharashtra, Madras, the present day Chennai in Tamil Nadu, Surat in Gujarat, and Hooghly in West Bengal. And the main traded things were cotton, raw silk, sugar, textiles, etc. And the other company was the French East India Company, which reaped maximum benefit from their trade with East. But it was largely a government controlled business venture. It depended on the French government for funding. It set up settlements in 1664 at Chandarnagar in Bengal, Mahe in Kerala, Karaikal in Tamil Nadu, and Pondicherry, the present day Puducherry, in Tamil Nadu. And Dupleix played a major role in the expansion of the French power in India. He was the French Governor General of Pondicherry, the present day Puducherry, in Tamil Nadu. Now, the next topic is rivalry in trade. Rivalry means conflict. By the time the English appeared, the Portuguese had already established their settlements on the western coast of India. Portuguese were the people from Portugal, Europe. Means Portuguese had already established their presence in the western coast of India and had their base in Goa. In fact, in 1498, a Portuguese explorer, Vasco da Gama, had discovered the sea route to India via the Cape of Good Hope. The Dutch, means Netherlands traders, and the French traders from France also arrived on the scene by early 17th century. Means by the early 17th century, the Dutch too were exploring then the possibilities of trade in the Indian Ocean, and soon the French traders also arrived on the scene. There was an increase in competition due to the presence of many companies. It reduced the profits. All of them wanted to buy goods at low prices from India. Then they sold them at very high prices in other parts of Europe. Means the problem was that all the companies were interested in buying the same things. The fine qualities of cotton and silk produced in India had a big market in Europe, and many of the spices were also in the great demand. Competitions amongst the European companies pushed up the prices at which these goods could be purchased, and this reduced the profits that could be earned. The need to secure markets resulted in aggressive wars among the trading companies. The countries used armed forces to carry out trade. Armed forces means army, navy, and air forces. They destroyed ships and blocked routes. They also prevented rival ships from moving in with supplies of goods. The trading centers were protected through fortifications. Fortifications means defensive walls built to strengthen place against the attacks. Basically, during that time, the only way the trading companies could flourish was by eliminating or removing the rival competitors. The urge to secure markets therefore led to battles between the trading companies. Through 17th and 18th centuries, they regularly sank each other's ships and blocked the routes and prevented the rival ships from moving with supplies of goods. Companies raised their own armies. In due course of time, the Portuguese and the Dutch were ousted from the Indian trade. Ousted means expelled or removed. The English and the French started dominating the trade between India and Europe. Dominating means controlling. So we can say that the trade was carried on with arms or weapons, and trading ports were protected through fortification. And this effort to fortify the settlements and carried on profitable trade also led to intense conflict with local rulers. And all the companies raised their armies, and finally the British and French started controlling the trade between India and Europe by expelling or removing the Portuguese and Dutch from Indian trade. Now, I hope today's topics are clear to you. Your today's homework is to learn the related terms and try to solve the related back exercises.